like they can win the games against each other.
Yeah, again, Odette was a big point of talk, I guess, from the last series that we saw, and it didn't work out, right? But that's not to say that, you know, if you want to go with some experimentation, at least in game one, I would say game one. If you want to approach it that way, go for it again. Whoever starts on the right foot here, that's where we see momentum. And given the fact that, as well, AP Bren being massively ahead and struggling. Oh, by the way, whoa, we know who he's supporting. Oh, Renegade.
My God, I didn't think this would be the day I would see a Fuzzy Doggy wearing a Blacklist International jersey.
Wow, that's
support.
That's the support, of course. I mean, like, this is surprising, and of course, I mean, come on.
What do we call this support? What do we? The all Filipino desk. What do we do?
Yeah.
There's no prediction here.
I'm happy that Lafel also joined us.
I didn't even notice that.
He did join us.
Only Gideon went with 3-2 with AP Bren.
All right.
In a stadium full of agents, I wouldn't dare predict.
Yeah.
Hey, there's one thing. At least you can't say we're biased, right? I mean, these are two Filipino teams. So.
Hey, you're right.
It's clear who my favorite players are, but when it comes down to the competition, we call it down the wire.
Yeah, and you know, really, when we talk about these two teams, exactly how they fall into place here for the lower bracket final, there's a lot of things that you could point out, right, in their journey up to this point. But I think, yeah, you guys pretty much pointed it out. You know, a lot of time to kind of readjust, refine things, get things situated. Now, how quick can you make that adjustment, right, from their kind of varying series earlier that they've had? That's kind of what is up to play here between both of them. And of course, we can always talk about the draft, the individual skill level when it comes lane to lane, you know, how that comparison goes. But even for me, I would really focus even in the mid lane, right? One of the matchup here, Few versus Yue. And I know they mentioned this earlier, the fact that maybe Haji comes in, but still, I think Yue has been doing an amazing job up to this point. Do you feel like he's at his peak to be able to go and match up against Few right now?
At his peak, maybe I cannot answer that. I'm pretty sure that he is on an upward trajectory when it comes to his improvements. Like when we saw Yue perform in MSC, we were so impressed. And then in MPLP Season 12, we are equally impressed. And now, the M5 World Stage, he is performing so well. So I don't know if that's the peak anymore, but I'm sure that it's an upward trajectory for Mr. Yue.
Again, in the metagame that is filled with Lilia, Valentina, and Faramis, Yue is a part of that argument.
Yeah.
But consider this. Few has been playing this game. Few has been a part of this ecosystem, MLBB Sports, even before it was established. Yue is likely one of the kids who would call him his idol.
For sure.
So best believe, this meeting here in the lower bracket, in the finals, in this M5 world stage, it's fated, it's destiny.
Destiny or not, we're going to find out here. Jumping into the draft. Game number 1 in this best of 5 lower bracket final. Blacklist International, AP Bren, prepped and ready once again. Going through the ringer up to this point. They've got another obstacle ahead of them. And we'll see how things fall into place once again. Fan-wise, a little bit, you know, difference here, but a lot of familiarity as well. Fredrin, Valentina taking out Baksha for AP Bren on the blue. Over on the red, we have Blacklist International taking out the Guinevere, the Joy, the Nolan.
Yep. Bruno as well as Faramis open for Blacklist International. You don't want to, obviously you don't want to give the Valentina to Yue, because how strong he is. Matilda now being picked up by AP Bren, Renegade special for sure. Now they will get the Akai, the winning hero that they used when they went up against King Fam Indonesia, quickly banned and sorted out by Daewoo, but that did not net them the series victory anyways. So I'm thinking like Bruno Akai here from Blacklist. Oh, Lilia.
Okay. Lilia picked up. This is something that, I mean, she is priority, but oftentimes, you know, you don't see this exactly right now. Is this a smart choice? Pick up the Lilia and the Akai for now, and all you see is the Matilda?
For sure. It's a US special. You know for sure that the Faramis is going to be a consideration for AP Bren, as well as your typical marksman. There's consideration of getting the 1-1 now, but knowing AP Bren, after seeing what they saw in the previous series, maybe they might just go for the Claude instead for this particular slot.
Coach Diep did do well to cover up their bases, denied the Claude very often, but it looks like it doesn't matter. Again, if it's open and you have that mid-lane trio to activate the 1-1, make Super Marco's lane a little easier to hit and get online, then by all means.
It's going to be the Claude immediately answered by Blacklist International. I think at this stage of the tournament, this is what you may notice. There will be only 3 heroes that they may be picking up in the marksman role. The 1-1, the Bruno, and the Claude. They're just going to be shuffling between those 3 heroes because they need to win the games. Like, obviously, the Brodies, your Brodies, your Matrix, they can win you games, right? But when it comes to like winning an entire series, you have to get to those all reliable carry heroes.
Yeah, it's funny too, because when you look at it, right, even in the previous series, you saw how much focus was on Super Marco's lane, right? It was choked out to the point where, once again, he was so far behind in terms of the gold-to-gold matchup in the gold lane that it really, stopped them from doing what they had to do to stay in that game. And so that can be a similar game plan here. But once again, those picks locked in, we have to focus on the XP lane, right? The impact lane right now is currently in the M5. It plays a huge role here.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like Lapu-Lapu or Kali, these heroes that are played in a role where you're an XP lane, but you're so an assassin in a way, right? But at the same time, the Terizla should be a consideration for both teams, since the Terizla is a hero that's good against the Claude, good against the 1-1 as well. And I like the fact that AP Bren will be denying sustained heroes now, because that is what 1-1 doesn't want to face.
So now I'm wondering, do they allow the Minotaur? The Minotaur's still out there. If both teams are looking for an XP laner, it's very clear that Blacklist actually need a roamer. You have to activate a Yue. You have to allow for them to, again, be ready for these false collapses, fall away team fights, fade away team fights. So I'm wondering if that's going to be possible with what's left on the board after Coach Ducky and Coach Bren are done banning.
Oh, there's the Khalid. As we talked about, it's been making waves, or sand waves, if you will, throughout M5, of course.
Love it.
Thank you. Let's see if this last ban is actually a member, because I think one of the questions is, Hitman becoming the heel man. There's been a mixture of his own playstyle so far. Is Minotaur that answer for AP Bren to ban out?
Or the Rafaela, maybe. Either will be great, and obviously the Minotaur is a hero that Claude doesn't want to face. That means that if it is let go, Blacklist are going to be inclined to pick that up, their 4th pick, or maybe maybe the answer is have Edward be the flex hero, or the hero that will have the complete answers, which is the traditional trajectory for Blacklist International. Good call.
There it is. Yep, going to be banned out once again. Minotaur taking out of the picture alongside that Estes pick. So, Heelman, what's left for him? Rafaela. That's about
Rafaela and Tigreal, perhaps.
We don't want to mention the Florin.
Nope, that's a bad word.
Okay.
For now, at least. Again, Florin hasn't been performing very well here in the world stage. Looking at Blacklist again, I agree. Maybe Flex Edward?
Yeah.
The Arlo hasn't been banned yet.
They are low.
Yeah.
Arlo is pretty solid.
Yeah, really, also likes that.
You overload the CC.
Yep.
You overload the Purify.
It has a combo with Akai as well.
Yep.
Very good. Well done.
Well done. Picked up here.
I know my Abunjingjing. I know my headbands.
Makes sense though, right? I mean, go ahead and pick it up. It also helps you kind of deal with if there's the instance where you have your guiding winds to kind of play against, and the movement speed and everything else from AP Bren. At least you have another option, right? But still, you got to work around once again the heavy spin, being able to find out these lockdowns yourself. So, what are the next 2 responses here?
There could be a Minotaur for the side of AP Bren, as well as maybe a
down.
Oh, it is. I think Tigreal.
There you go.
For open. At the same time, maybe they want to go Kaja instead.
Oh, but Kaj has very low win rate.
Yeah.
But the thing is, okay,
Whoa.
because Blacklist International can pick up a Diggy in their last pick.
So this is like that sort of that double mage setup. Once again, you have the Matilda, you have the Novaria, right? Working together this time around. And so what's the answer here from Blacklist?
Thinking Diggy, in fact, because it's a hero that will really just solve the problems for Blacklist International. They can group up, especially because they already have the Arlot as well as the Akai anyways. Maybe a safer route could be the Tigreal for Mr. Renegade.
Yeah, one or the other. The other is more defensive, but more proactive when it comes to vision. The other can turn around fights.
Oh, wow.
How about neither?
We kind of forgot about Angela.
I would have thought that AP Bren would have taken that instead of the Novaria, because that's a good combo. But then, Angela Claude, classic combo as well. It's almost like a Digi. Well, the Digi helps you survive the crowd control, but the Angela allows for you to just tank up, and it has a great combo with the Claude anyways.
Interesting. It's going to be really the execution factor here as we look at both of these lineups working certain ways from the early game. Of course, the transition, the rotations, very important here. And I gotta say too, man, the Akai performance so far from Sensui has been on point. Is Kyle Teasy ready to match up once again as we get ready to load up into game one here, the lower bracket final, AP Bren, Blacklist International. The agents are here, the Hive is here. Which one will pull through in the series as we start game one?
Looking out for these early rotations. Again, both teams have been on the receiving end and the aggressive end of these early starts. Sensui on the purple, Kyle starting up orange. Bit of a kite for black.
And obviously, when it comes to the Lord fights, it's going to be another classic red-free battle. Fortunately for the Marquis, he does have the crowd control immunity. And Oakwind, interestingly, only picked up didn't have the EXP earlier on. But anyways, he's trying to fight in the middle.
Yeah. Again, pressure like early on. At this point, it could change the course of the early game at least. Real quick though, emblems, anything sticking out besides all this poke?
Well, nothing much really. Maybe this Master Assassin on the 1-1, perhaps. This is the first time probably that you see this. Typically you go firmness or tenacity, right? But he went for the Master Assassin.
Oakwind in the back, throwing first blood underneath tier 2 as Yui was trying to recall home.
That's what I was saying, man. You put on the pressure early on. It can change the course of this early game, especially talking about a lot of this rotation for both these teams. Still the focus. AP Brent wants to keep the pressure going, even against Sensui, right? Try to get any lead that you can work around, especially that first objective, the turtle. A lot of the teams here against AP Bren, sometimes they find it out, sometimes they let it slip through. But I feel like Blacklist International, they want to just go ahead, contest all these things, right?
Yep.
Give it up to them the best they can, try to win these early fights if they can. Now, typically, Wolf, when we see the Angela pop through, it's a little more passive, right? The play style here, and even the variation. We've seen Angela's pick up focusing Mark. This time around, it's not. It's the Imperial Rage.
I guess the idea for Blacklist International is to go classic Uber, wait for 7 minutes, wait for 8 minutes, and then fight afterwards.
Here we go. Turtle already up. Slight pull for AP Bren. Heavy spin spent out by Sensui already. Edward flickering on up. Kyle Teasy pops him with a decimate. Renegade flickering on through. There's a puppet on the strings. AP Bren putting up bodies in between them and Blacklist. Turtle scored. AP Bren.
Great force out coming out from that PC, forcing the heavy spin while only using his flicker. He can get back to the fight. Then, we know for sure that Kaltizi had a micro objective battle against Sensui the Lizard, where they had a retry battle that favored Kaltizi eventually. That meant that Kaltizi had easier access to level 5, and Sensui not having the heavy spin and a level disadvantage, he just decided, I will not fight.
Yeah, I feel like as your Blacklist International here, you're working against, let's say, the lineup of AP Bren, right? The tools that they have vision, they have utility in terms of mobility, right? With the Matilda pick, that's really what's going to favor them early on. Once again, as Blacklist International tries to build up here, trying to buy some time. Of course, that's the thing with Claude, right? You need to be able to build up on this Claude real quick because items are falling into place.
Yep.
Anything here happening, Wolf, sticking out?
Maybe the defense is going to be important. Sensui, interestingly, will try to fight this purple. Gets it, actually.
Yep, spends his retribution. Yatra Echo spots a few. Sensui displaced, forcing a heavy spin. Circling Eagle knocking up 2. 3 members of Blacklist push back into their jungle.
Wow.
Disengage.
And they get out with it.
He gets away with it. Literally just walking in front of the members of AP Bren, gets out with the help of his teammates. And then all of a sudden he equalized, because I was just about to say that Blacklist International kind of needs to secure levels onto Sensui, which means that they need to secure the jungle again. The fact that they got a purple buff away from AP Bren, that's pretty massive when it comes to their recovery.
Gentlemen, I can't believe it. He committed Grand Theft Purple with 0 punishment. Now up top, Renegade in trouble. Circling Eagle committed by Oakwind.
Wow.
That's enough damage. Kyle Teasy using the decimate. Now it's Oheb's turn. BMI on out. staying underneath his turret. AP Bren pushing the advantage. Going up about 2,000 gold ahead. Super Marco looking to take the skies. Fading to wet versus the crossbow Tang. Marco wins.
Oh, that's tough, right? You blazing duet, but unfortunately, you can't shoot up too much into the air there with the air time. Now, once again, Turtle gonna be up here, second one of the game. Blacklist in position.
It was all horizontal. We need to go vertical. Edward gets the hard guard in him. The hitman healing him up. Not enough. Open gets the kill. Turtle still standing, down to a fifth of its health. Blackstone National with the full count. Easy coming in with the steal. Sensui backing off. Still has a heavy spin in check. They disengage. Losing 100%. Going over to AP.
Great decision from AP Bren to turn onto heroes first, as they have found an opening onto Edward. You can say that Bridget's usage of the ultimate might have been a second too late. That meant that even after the shields, the damage output of AP Bren was enough, and then the retry battle won by Kaltizi. It's definitely AP Bren's early game now.
Yeah, speaking of early game, once again, at this point in the game, you're nearly 4K ahead. Blacklist International, the way they want to adjust to this is, again, buy some time, let scaling happen here. But still also, the other thing as well is UA, right? Usually when you see these Lilias, they pop out a ton of damage, but he's gonna kind of have to wait for that. He has to wait for some of these setups to happen, which is on the shoulders right now of mostly Edward with his Arlop pick. But you can see AP Bren just not really given a chance for them to breathe, right? They want to continue on.
Super Marco putting quite a bit of damage onto Oheb. AP Bren have done more than just checking. In terms of an MMA fight, they've been stepping forward, looking for these feints, looking for these sweeps, and that's what explains his 5K gold lead, 5-0 at 6. And even if Blacklist got a solid haymaker, a solid check under the chin, stealing a purple, AP Bren didn't even need it.
Yeah. Kaltizi is in the zone right now, I would say. The way that he utilizes the ultimate is always pixel perfect. You wouldn't think that it will be enough to get kills, but so far his 2 kills were well-calculated usage of the Decimate.
Ooh, few hits. Swiping away Kyle Teasy, putting Sensui down. Half health. Ogun pushing them back. This mid lane in tier 1 is the only one standing left for AP Bren in the slow assault.
So given this situation, we're seconds away here from the last turtle of the game. Is Blacklist International better just giving this up? Wolf, let it be. Just give it up. Get ready for the Lord.
Yeah, absolutely. If they can defend by not dying, go for that. But if they will lose more in defending turrets or defending like turtles, it's absolutely not going to be worth it. And so we might try to go for this, but Kyle is level 10 and he gets poked. That's it.
Yeah.
That's 3 spotted. Sensui used the heavy spin, pinning Super Marco. Dashing on through, clearing it off. Cleansing it. Edward in trouble. Taking to the sky with the I'm...
Wow.
Oh, gonna go in. And there it is. Buckle Tang jumping through. Yue gets popped by Flap Easy, knocking him out behind tier 2. And with that, AP Bren forced the advantage. Couple of kills, plus a turtle.
Still going to be putting the pressure there in the mid lane. We'll get the tier 1. But that was Sensui starting that, trying to get a possible steal if he could, but just completely zoned out, because right now that is the difference, that gold, that economy in favor of AP Bren.
Oh, the Filipino cannon! Popping away, putting him into a 10th of his health! What was that?
Ooh, that is Snowball, ladies and gentlemen, with the deadly blade. The Sea Halberd, I mean.
All the way.
All the way from Flapteasy. No defense items whatsoever. He wants to go for the quick annihilation, knowing full well that Oheb does only have a sprint. Later on, with the sprint being popped, his flicker will be even more deadly. Flicker combo against Oheb will be going to be difficult to deal with later on.
That's the thing too, you see how many items there are from AP Bren to deal with that sustainability, you know, from the Angela pick. There's 3 now on them. They're all ready to pretty much fight in these skirmishes, and that's why, once again, the Heart Guard really hasn't had much of an impact, right? They continue to whittle down, and then when the Heart Guard's supposed to be there, it's not providing enough healing because of the itemization from AP Bren. They further the lead. Sensui, though, will be able to get the orange as he backs off once again. Blacklist really trying to hold on to any of the real estate they can on their side of the map, but right now you can see the power of this lead.
Yeah, definitely. Even AP Bren just taking over the jungle of Blacklist International, they can't do anything about it. But fortunately, Sensui had the guts to use the retribution, steals it away. Look at that Astro Spear, he onto 2, putting them at below 50% HP with just 1 shot. Oh,
Again, right? This is why Novaria, for the longest time, has been prioritized, right? Vision, poke potential, increasing the hitbox even, and now with everything, AP Bren's going to be able to go ahead and just grab themselves this Lord as well. Blacklist International still not positions to really deal with this. UA just picking up the Ice Queen wand here. They're very far behind in terms of itemization. Super Marco picking up a big defensive item pickup, the Wind of Nature.
I gotta say though, this is not the first time the Blacklist International were put in this very bad spot.
That's right.
Just yesterday, they overcame what, a 10k gold lead, 12k gold lead, and now they have the heroes to actually win this game. They have the Claude Angela, Lilia for the defense, and Akai for a win condition pin down.
If you're talking about lessons, Wolf, AP Bren had a same lead,
That's true.
a
That's
massive
true.
lead.
That-
So
I think
now
it
they're
was
pushing
14.
advantage.
That's
They're getting on the offensive because they have to.
Exactly.
They have to. So either way, once again, Blacklist International still could hold on much longer. It is only 10.5 minutes in. They got to make quick work of the Lord top side. They have the tools to stay in the game, at least extended. Oheb also has to be very careful on this approach. You can see as well, damage is there. They're going to deal with the Lord here.
Astral Echo thrown out, spotting 3. This is an odd and awkward position for an Angela. They don't like being in the front lines like this. Ogwin setting it up, looking for that circling eagle, waiting for it to go off of cooldown, does not engage. A successful defense by Black.
That will inflate AP Bren's lead to 9.8k, but it will not end the game yet. What they can do right now is just clear out the jungle, make sure that Blacklist International will have to group up and just stay for scraps, just dividing all of those gold that they get from the minions that are incoming and not get any more from the jungle creeps.
Will they deal with these shots here? Once again, looking at the items, you can see, right, Oheb needs a lot of time. He's only got the Demon Hunter sword. He's got the golden staff here. Most likely will be able to grab the Wind of Nature next. But still, that's the thing, right? Working alongside the fact that you are down this far behind, the approach you have to take is you got to be kind of cautious, careful. Ogwin constantly putting the pressure here with the circling eagle for Blacklist International, and that's why the positioning is so important. Even looking across the map, looking at the positioning of AP Bren, they want to punish a misstep from Blacklist International to possibly end the game early, right? They don't want to extend it too far. They go for Sensui. He's at the front, but he's going to be fine. The pokes come through, though.
Something about Few here in game number 1 tells me he's in it to win it. He's been catching Blacks International with 4-man, 5-man, Astral Recos on a constant basis. 12 minutes in, I think there have been 4 or 5 big ults from this Novaria. And it's going to help with the check. It's coming up all the more important because the turn is going to be almost impossible for Blacklist.
See Edward now picking up the Radiant Armor, much needed. And one thing that I noticed, how Blacklist International plays so far, the stage 2 knockouts, Ranger never leaves Oheb's side. But this time, picking up the Angela means that you actually can leave Oheb behind.
Ooh, left easy. Playing footsies, checking who else is with Edward here. Spots Renegade in the back, throwing out a circling eagle. They back out.
Again, I think at this point still, given the difference here, yeah, the retro is going to be used, so I don't feel like they actually want to go ahead and fight. Obviously, this Lord, AP Bren's got that information as well. They can go ahead and clear this.
Going for the blitz. Slight pull. AP Bren with a clear lead. Melting the Lord down to a 5th, a 6th, an 8th, a 10th. Clearly, AP Bren in control here. 10k ahead, 7-0, 13 minutes in.
Ogwen, not find him. And a very nice idea coming up from AP Bren. They forced the Retribution, and knowing full well that the Blacklist International didn't have the Retribution too, that means that they couldn't fight around the Lord area. That's a quick take coming up from AP Bren. How good is their push though? Yes, see, as they're slowly pushing the middle, they're kind of freezing it so that all of the lanes will come up together. Unfortunately, the bottom lane is getting first.
Well, you know, Edward using the final slash. So still, they got to deal with the lanes. Lord now on the top side. AP Bren wants to get these base turrets down. It's going to start up top.
Another big 5-man lateral Astral Echo. The pull, the dash, the jump. Edward moving on through. Agent Zero. Spell tapping through. Forcing out of Black Shoes. Flapped easy. Taking a few hits there. Inside the base now. The blazing duet coming in. Edward popped, trapped, and not going to be able to stop this push from AP Bren. 13 Team K ahead, barreling through. Up next on the docket, bottom lane. Blacks International gonna be able to defend, clear that wave. Only one inhibitor falls.
They hold on to at least a little bit longer. Bottom turret, one hit away here. But Blacklist International, you can see they're starting to get the damage online, especially for OHEB. But can they hold on longer?
The jump in. Another black shoes, a heavy spin. Hitting down, flat easy. Gonna take him down. But Sensui pays the iron price. Marco taking down an inhibitor in mid. Down bottom as well. Sensui's not here to half through and split these waves. But it looks like it's gonna slow down unless AP Bren waiting for a wave in mid. The Astral Echo spots the 4 remaining members of Black. The circling. Oh! Good eye sniper! Few finds one. 3 defenders left underneath the base. There's a solid wave. Energy coming through. Heartguard is gonna be enough. Half easy. Wailing away. Go goes down. Few pops him. And now the base stands alone with 2 members of Black, 1 member of Black. No more. It's a wipeout. AP Bren takes game 1.
And it looks like they've adjusted very quickly from the previous series. They came out swinging in a decisive game number 1. They take this game, they take the series 1-0.
If you look back at that game, there's no overextension, no overheating coming out from AP Bren. Very disciplined, getting all of those OP heroes that we have, the 1-1. Again, the Matilda as well, very strong combo. Martis coming up from Galtizi, just on point, no mistakes, well-calculated usage of the Decimate. And then, of course, Few on the Navaria. Still, you know, with the Hawkeye, the Eagle-Eye, Few is there.
It was on point, right? Again, why they love to take a Navaria, but we'll leave it to, what was that, the Malaysian brothers over there on the panelist stand. Go ahead and break down this game number 1.
Thank you very much to our Filipino brothers on the desk, where I gotta say, looking at this game, amazing performance coming in from AP Brand, where Oakwen as well as Few, in my personal opinion, created a lot of space, and Kyle Teasy was there to execute whatever member is low, or the moment when Blacklist International tried to stay a little bit longer. I would say the space control coming in from AP Brand was splendid.
Absolutely, but that's not all, right? When we look at Blacklist International's overall style of composition, truly, is it an all for one or is it a one for all? And it definitely felt like it was based to play around their mid as well as their gold laner here. But you got to give credit where credit is due. AP Brand, solid game through and through from draft all the way to the finish. I'm pretty sure we both know who the MVP of this game is going to be.
Well, with that being said, we're going to look at the MVP of this game. The MVP is going over to Ogwen, where again, like I said, the way that he controlled the space, I got to say, the members of AP Brand, they're very free to walk around everywhere because Ogwen is poking, Ogwen is figuring out where everyone is. He's an enabler, and he enables everything.
All around a nice guy, man. I mean, that's the thing with Matilda. It's not like Rock where it's an emphasis of your opponent's mistakes. It gives you the confidence to make plays, make a mistake, and it'll be totally fine, especially if Owen is going to be on your side with this Matilda to save you at the end of the day. And I think it's even more emphasized once we start jumping into the highlights.
Yeah, we're going to look at the highlights where, again, the way that AP Brand played around, it all starts around the riverside because they're making sure that Blacklist International has a clear line on the ground that you can't move forward. And we got to say, Ogwen, again, moving around, giving space, giving vision. But I want to talk about Few as well. Few also giving vision, but more so giving the damage, making it so that before the fight even starts, it's not a good idea to engage.
Well, I mean, there was a couple of problems, right? We're hoping that Renegade is able to keep everybody topped up, clean, but the laning phase was absolutely ruined so fast into the game. And that's where you see this huge wave of momentum coming up from the side of AP Brent, especially around types of fights where you're hoping that, at least for OHEB, he's put back enough time, 3 minutes worth of time, that they're not able to get to their eventual power spike.
I feel like we got to jump on what Wolf said as well on the pick and bans coming in from AP Brand, where the draft coming in from AP Brand is super solid, where they got a lot of S-tier heroes, the Matilda, the 1-1, even the Novaria, even though it's like not number 1 or number 2, but again, a very solid hero.
Very good considerations overall, and yes, initially you're thinking about lane priority. You're thinking about ways to kind of control the lanes, right? Have ways to move together as a team, which is very much like Blacklist International wants to play. However, when you have strong laners, and more importantly, once we start looking at some of these post-game stats, let's look at the emblems and keep in mind, this is not a normal thing that we usually see. Usually it's from the Cambodian side, right? Super Marco taking Master Assassin, but not only that, Flapteezy deciding to take that as well. They were looking to hurt their lane as much as they could.
Yeah, I kind of feel like on all fronts, Blacklist International was not having a comfortable game because, again, looking at how they've been moving around the map, where I kind of feel